Assalamu alaikum and hello to my non-Muslim viewers. Today I'm going to be refuting the claim that the Quran or Islam allows husbands to beat their wives, I'll be refuting so-called wife beating in Islam. Now, is it true that wife beating happens in Muslim countries and stuff like that? Yeah, that's true. I'm not denying that. But the reason why those things happen, or why domestic violence and stuff like that happens, is because of cultural issues or backward tribal cultural mentality, and not because of religion. So the reason why Syrians or Pakistanis or Yemenis or whatever, or beat their wives, is not because Islam, not because they're quoting the Quran, or not because of not because of any Islamic teaching. It's because of cultural reasons. Whether it's the Arab culture or the Pakistani culture or whatever, the reason why they're doing that is because of their backward tribal cultural mentality. It has nothing to do with religion. So that's a thing to keep in mind. So let's get into what Islam says about wife beating and refuting some of the arguments critics of Islam put forth to say, yeah, Muslims can beat their wives. Let's look at the first argument. Now, Muslims believe in the Quran. The Quran is the number one. Quran is the number one source. Or Quran is the number one book Muslims use to get legal, to get their Islam from. So let's look at the Quran for a second. The Quran verse in question is the Quran chapter 4 verse 34, where it says that and I'm reading the Yusuf Ali translation. The verse in question is, men are the protectors and maintainers of women, because God has given the one more strength than the other, and because they support them from their means. Therefore, the righteous women are devoutly obedient and guard in the husband's absence what God would have them guard. As to those women on whose part ye fear disloyalty and ill conduct, abolish them first, next refuse to share their beds, and last beat them. But if they beat them lightly, but if they return to obedience, seek not against them means of annoyance, for Allah is most high, great above you all. So notice the pattern here. First it says admonish, then leave them in bed, then the beating. These all signify emotional punishments. When the husband admonishes his wife, she will become disappointed. When he refuses intercourse with her, this will disappoint her, for it would make her realize how really upset her husband is with her. Islamic critics might be stubborn and want to take the word. So the Arabic word is used for beat used in that verse is daraba, and critics of Islam say that means abusive beating. But let's not forget why Allah has sent the Prophet Muhammad, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has made it clear what is meant by the word daraba in the verse. The Prophet Muhammad said that he permitted hitting that leaves no injury. So the Arabic words used is daraba, gaira, mubarih. So the Prophet Muhammad said you can't abuse wives, or you can't hit them that it causes injury. And this hadith is found in Sahih Muslim. Sahih Muslim, the book of pilgrimage. So the aim of beating is to cause the woman to feel some emotional pain without harming her physically. Wife beating must be the last resort to which the husband turns to punishing his wife, and is according to the Quran chapter 4 verse 34. The husband's third step is when the wife is rebellious. First, he must remain her without anger. Next, he must distance her from the bed, Only if these two methods fail should the husband turn to beating, and this is only if he believes that would help resolve the situation and it's not just out of revenge. So now some critics might say, well, the hadith allows beating and stuff like that. Or the Prophet Muhammad allowed beating in certain hadiths and stuff like that. Well, I looked for the source for those hadith, and I found and I didn't find a authentic hadith from the tafsir that say that where Prophet Muhammad said it's okay to beat wives, or you can you can slap women in faces, and you can abuse or hit women and stuff. I looked for the source of that hadith and I couldn't find it. In fact, there are many authentic hadith that say you can't beat women. And found in these hadith where it says you can't beat wives is found in Sahih or Sunan Abu Dawud, hadith number 2142, and this hadith is authentic according to Sheikh Al-Bani. And if you look at hadith, if you look at Quranic commentators like Ibn Kathir, Al-Suti, Al-Tabari, and Al-Qurtubi, all these said that you can't physically beat women. You can't they're all commenting on the Quran chapter 4 verse 34. They all say that injurious hitting is not permissible. The Prophet Muhammad also said the same thing. He said, do not beat wives. That hadith is kind of misleading. Also, if you look at the hadith commentaries, hadith commentary of Muhammad Shams al-Haq al-Adhim Abadi, he says that you can't beat you can't beat your wives. So even hadith commentaries say that you can't beat your wives. So some critics might say, well, the Prophet Muhammad said a man will not be asked why he beat his wife, and this is found in Sahih and Sunan Abu Dawud 2142. But this hadith is weak. This hadith is weak, as found in the writings of Sheikh Al-Bani in his book Al-Wara Al-Galhil, hadith number 2034. So that hadith is weak anyways. So what kind of beating is allowed in Islam? Now, like I said, Islam allows the husband to beat the wife only if it's necessary, only if the wife is causing harm, or she's rebellious, or she's harming the kids, or she's doing some kind of atrocious act that she needs to be beaten. And if you read Tafsir al-Tabari in his Tafsir on the Quran chapter 5 verse 38, the Arabic word gara mubareh means not a obscene beating, not an indecent beating, not a beating that causes pain. So how can Muslims if the circumstances calls for it, how do Muslims deal with their women and stuff like that? Well, the Prophet Muhammad said that you can only hit your wife with a toothpick or a modern equivalent of a toothbrush, and this is recorded in the Tafsir al-Tabari, volume 5, page number 68. And Al-Razi in his tafsir in volume 3, page 222, mentions that there must be a light beating and the face must be avoided. So you can't beat your wives with your hands, or you can't punch your wives or anything like that. And the Prophet Muhammad also said that you can only hit women or your wives with like a toothpick and this hadith is found in Kanaz al-Umal, hadith number 39820 and 8 to 1. So according to a hadith, you can't hit your wife that causes